Namaskar, this is Professor Aman Agarwal from Indian Institute of Finance, and we are holding this series of webinars on the essence of life and growth. Our objective here is to bring out positivity, what lies before for us in case of life and as a growth coming forth. And I have been trying to bring in people with about 50 to 60 years of experience, work-life experience, to come and share their life perspective, their own examples, their own how they have actually dealt with life and growth, and how have they seen that their own perceptions about it. So we are not talking of Corona or COVID today. We are, or the problems which we are facing, but we are talking of the essence of life. Although we have a doctor today, and it cannot be ignored because that has been his parcel of life. He has lived through with these kind of pandemics and epidemics, and he has been given awards by the United Nations and various other organizations worldwide. Only a few of which I will be able to mention today because it is a long CV. Because if I start reading that, it may go on for about an hour itself. So, and since we want to run this program for only half an hour interview where I do, and then about 15-20 minutes of question answers towards the end. So I'll continue to some briefing on his life. But I have been impressed personally by his persona. I have been impressed by the human nature, the kind of work he does, and I thought he would be one of the right persons to come and share with you his life experiences of how things move around and what's been going on. As a disclaimer, I would like to mention that we are observing all norms which have been prescribed by the Ministry of Home Affairs for conducting Zoom and online webinars and meetings. I would request everybody to kindly keep their videos and audios off. My colleague who is here, who is the cyber head, he will take you off the room in case your video and audio is turned on. We will turn on the videos and audios towards the end when we open the house for question and answers. And at that time, you're welcome to raise your hands. There's an option to raise your hands, and I will then open your video and audio to ask the speaker the questions you have in mind. Again, we will contain ourselves, so we would request people to contain their questions and interest with respect to the topic of today, which is the essence of life and growth. Just to briefly introduce, Dr. Pandav has been my neighbor. He has been an inspirer for me. I follow him, his family, everybody has had a very disciplined life, and I have been impressed with the way they lead their life. Although doctors are considered to be disciplined, but I have a large number of other family members who are doctors, but I found his life to be very serene and nice. A person who is always welcomed and always, welcomed any thoughts, any ideas, and was open to discussions on any issue. He has been the founder member of the Indian Coalition for Control of Iodine Deficiency Disorders. He is currently from 1997, but he's currently the president of the Indian Coalition for Control of Iodine Deficiency Disorder. And as you would know, India had a maximum problem because of iodine deficiency, which happened, and there was a huge movement which government of India had laid down, which he has been a part of as well. He's also the founder member since 1986, I think, or 86, and regional coordinator currently of the Iodine Global Network, which is a South Asia-based group, again looking after iodine. He is the chairperson of the Coalition of Food and Nutrition Society, which is very critical today. As we know, there are debates about the way the nutrition values have been going down, and the kind of deaths which are happening because of deficiency of food and the kind of nutrition we don't have. And even the immune factor, which is being debated lately by various agencies, including the WHO, as a key parameter for fighting such kind of pandemics as we are going through in the world. It is one of them, and that's where his role as the head of this coalition of food and nutrition security is even critical, which is, in my opinion, very important, which many of us give very little importance to, because that's what helps us build that deficiency factor, reduces and brings that immunity factor in us. He is also the member of the National Council of Indian Nutritional Challenges and Posham Abhiyan, which is under actually the vice chairman of Niti Aayog, Rajiv, an old friend of mine, also heads that group, and he's chairing that meeting as well. He's a member of that council. And most importantly, which I feel, is that he has been a former professor, he's a teacher, He is from his heart a guru, and has been the head of the department for Center for Community Medicines at All India Institute of Medical Sciences, commonly known as AIIMS. Every one of us knows that is AIIMS. And he has headed that department. He has organized a large number of seminars, summits, meetings, very active member of the society, not only in terms of taking care of the medicinal developments, community affairs, but also the fact in terms of spreading the knowledge. We have been fortunate that we have also had the occasion to come and address at AIIMS while he was head of the department till recently. And we have had the opportunity to meet a large number of doctors and others and talk about the financial aspects, which is our core area as an institution, at his forums. Welcome, Dr. Pandav. It's a pleasure and namaskar, welcoming you. I will put you on spotlight and then we'll begin the issue on essence of life and growth. We will keep to about 20 minutes to half an hour, and after which we will be open the house for question and answers to people. And I'm sorry that I did not see those clippings. If I would have, then we would have tried and made some arrangement, but we're trying to keep it non-audio, only verbal discussion as a matter of fact when it comes to these webinars which are on essence of life and growth. And my first query before you is, you have seen life close. You have seen people from all walks of life. As a doctor, there is not a span of person across the globe and within the country or even a state you would have not been to or not addressed or moved on with. So you have seen life very closely, and given that you have seen different phases of life, I would appreciate if you could outline what do you think or what do you make out of what is the essence of life and what is growth in your perspective.
सबसे पहले मैं आपको धन्यवाद देना चाहता हूं इस संवाद के लिए हम आपके लिए धन्यवाद देना चाहता हूं.
Pandav, we have some international audience from Japan, Malaysia, Indonesia, so I would request you. Thank you.
First of all, I'd like to thank you very much. A short thank you and a long thank you. Thank you and thank you very much for getting me on this program. It's a privilege and a pleasure to be here, and once again connect with you with your institution. You mentioned the word guru in your conversation, introducing me as a guru. I will start with Guru Vandana. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. In fact, that is the central thread in my life. Guru has played an important role in my life. And the interesting thing is, in English language, we only call sir, and sometimes we call Lord or my Lord. There are only two words. But in my Sanskrit language, there are six types of teachers, six types of teachers. First is Adhyapak, second is Upadhyaya, third is Acharya, fourth is Pandit, fifth is Drishta, and sixth is the Guru. Guru is the ultimate. Why Guru is the ultimate? At some other time, we'll talk about the other Gurus. The one who is able to awaken the wisdom in you, leading you from darkness to light. I'll repeat again. Guru is the one who is able to awaken the wisdom in you, leading you from darkness to light. That's the highest form of Guru in our Sanskrit literature, And it so happens, ladies and gentlemen, the 10th of May was the Mother's Day. 10th of May was the Mother's Day. Actually, in India, it's celebrated as the second Sunday of May. The current modern Mother's Day was started by a lady from the United States called Anne Jarvis, and she did it in 1912. But unfortunately, as it happens in Western countries, this instead of becoming a culture, it became a commercial event. But when you go to my Sanskriti, my cultural heritage, we start with Mata. Matrudeva Bhava, Pitrudeva Bhava, Atitya Deva Bhava, Acharya Deva Bhava. So we start with Mata. It's been there for centuries, last 10,000 years. Matrudeva Bhava. Oh mother, I bow down to you. Oh father, I bow down to you. Oh teacher, I bow down to you. Oh my guest, I bow down to you. That is the rich cultural heritage we have. So that's the first message I want to give to the students. Please go back in time and understand the Vedic literature and scriptures. That's the way, that's how India is going to be a Vishwa Guru. The Guru of the world is going back to our ancient scriptures. That's number one. The first truth in life is also the mother. She's the first truth. Sometimes people say father can be a matter of opinion, but mother is the first truth, and she is the Guru. She is the one who gives directions all your life. So greetings to the mothers in terms of the Western celebration of mother, but In Indian culture, we bow down to our parents, mother and father every day before we go to work and after we come back to work. That is the kind of status we give. Now, you asked about life. Life for a physician, I can see that there is a very, very thin line dividing life and death. Very thin line, very thin line. And it's all basically an element of uncertainty. We all live. When you are born, it's our life of uncertainty. It's life of uncertainty. So what I learned about life is very simple. It's there in the word life. L of life is L is for love. I life is inspiration. Li. F is forgiveness. And E is empathy. So that's what life has taught me. Love, inspiration, forgiveness, and empathy. While I'm telling you the word about empathy, I just want to bring to you about two important concepts here. There is also a concept of sympathy, empathy, and compassion. And I'll explain to you what the difference is. Sympathy is when somebody has pain and suffering, you just express it verbally. Oh my God, you got this fractured leg, you must be painful. That's sympathy. Empathy is that you experience it. The classical example is the theater artist, the actors, where you experience the pain and suffering. So first is you express, the second is experience, that's empathy, and compassion. Compassion is the highest form. Compassion is when you eliminate the cause of pain and suffering. That's compassion. So sympathy, empathy, and compassion. So that's what my life has taught me. LIFE, love, inspiration, forgiveness, and empathy.
Mm-hmm. Now, beautifully you put, the essence of life and how does it has gone. Now, before I go forward, I'm tempted to ask you if you can also enlighten us about your journey of life, from where you began, how you went about, and how things have been for you. If you can please enlighten us, taking a few seconds to talk about it.
Well, the journey, again, I thought quite a bit about it. Actually, it starts into different phases. The first phase in my life was sanskar. Sanskar is the kind of upbringing that you get through. Second thing is the schooling that I went to. Third thing is the institution that I went to for my professional education. Fourth is the open university education that I had. Fifth is the real life experiences that I had. So let me tell you about sanskar. Sanskar are the value systems that are there, and that primarily are shaped by your parents. Your parents play an extremely important role. Sanskar. And most important is also your colleagues, your colleagues during your childhood friends. Childhood friends and paternal and maternal inspiration is that shapes the sanskar. Then you step down to the school. The school I went was National Model School in Aga Khan Palace. Aga Khan Palace is in Pune. As you know, during the Quit India movement, Mahatma Gandhi was imprisoned there on 8th of August 1942. His wife, Kasturba ji, also was imprisoned with him. And so was his secretary, Mahadeva Desai. So I was very fortunate to grow up in that campus from the age of 6 years till I graduated in matric. Those days it used to be my matriculation. So I have breathed the Bapuji's environment. I've been very blessed. It so happens by coincidence, Bapuji talked of salt for freedom, and I've been working on iodized salt for freedom from brain damage. What a coincidence in life. What a coincidence. So sanskar, my school's motto was service and sacrifice. Service and sacrifice. Now that I realized it just now, what the school motto said. And I'm most grateful to you. As I said, the central thread in my life is the guru. I've been very, very fortunate to meet good gurus. The other principle, I consider everybody as a guru. Mai sabko guru maan deta hu. I consider you as a guru because I'm going to learn something from you. I consider the audience as my guru because I would learn something from them when they ask me difficult questions. I consider animals as my guru because we had a Labrador who lived for 17 years, and he taught me so much. Most important thing he taught me is unconditional, unadulterated love. And many other things he taught me, patience, loyalty. So I consider animals. I consider trees and flowers also as my guru because you learn a lot from them. And not only that, Aman, I also consider the technology, the computer that you're using, that inanimate thing also, that's also my guru because there is a message from them. So I come from that particular upbringing where I consider everybody as a guru. In fact, in our ancient cultural heritage, Gurudev Dattatreya who has 24 gurus, 24, and he had a spectrum of gurus. I have the blessings, and I'm a follower of Gurudev Dattatreya. So my addition to the gurus list is in the Kali Yuga, The 25th Guru is your spouse, She is the 25th Guru. Then I have two Gurus, Sri M. Sir, who has written a very world-famous, best-selling autobiography, Apprentice to a Himalayan Master. He's a president of the Satsang Foundation based in Madanapalli. He has been my Guru. Then we have a Guruji in Chhatarpur temple. He has been my Guru. Now the 30th Guru that I've seen in life is Corona. I consider coronavirus, you'll be shocked. As a doctor, I consider him as a Guru because that coronavirus in the last 40 days has taught me a lot many things. There is an outward journey which I was doing all these years. I lived out of suitcases. In fact, this is the longest period I've ever stayed at home, ever since I can remember. So my companion was suitcase, now companion is my wife and my family. So that is the first learning I learned from Corona. And the other thing I learned from Corona as a Guru is that the coronavirus doesn't respect anybody. No color, no country, no caste, no creed, no age, no gender. It's beyond that. So it is beginning to realize what I learned in the Sanskrit language, that this world, the entire world is a family. The entire world is family. Vasudeva Kutumbakam, Vasudeva Kutumbakam. This is a very important lesson that I learned from Dr. Vishwanath Karad, with whom I've been associated since my childhood. He said, Dr. Pandav, understand this concept of Vasudeva Kutumbakam. When you come to that stage, I think you have reached a stage where you can possibly reach a stage of self-actualization and self-realization. So I would like to publicly express my most deepest gratitude to Professor Dr. Vishwanath Karad for inculcating me this and exposing me to this. So first was the sanskar, second was the service and sacrifice. Then I came to the All India Institute of Medical Sciences way back in 1971. I'm a resident of Pune. Maharashtra is my home state. And what I learned from All India Institute of Medical Sciences, again, my alma mater, she's like my mother to me. I spent 45 years. I've been there since 1971 to 2016. 45 years I spent there. So that it has brought some epigenetic changes me. Every part of my cell is AIMS. And what AIMS taught me was a very important thing, science and society. Whatever science you do, if it is not relevant to society, you are wasting everybody's resources. So I learned that principle from my guru, my mentor, Dr. V. Ramananda Swami. In fact, in life, I met two kinds of teachers, those who are mentors and those who are tormentors. So I've been very lucky to meet the mentors. And Professor Ramalingam Swami, Professor Lalit Nath, Professor Madhu Karmarkar, Professor Kochupille, they were giants in their respective field. That's where I did my professional development. After that, so that's where science and society. The next link in again, Dr. Vishwanath Karad comes into play here. After knowing this, linking the science to society, came the question of spirituality in between. It's very interesting. All along, it's all yes story. Yes. And in fact, my answer by default to anybody who asks me for anything, by default, it's yes. We started with sanskar. We started with service and sacrifice. We started with science and society. Now there is another S that has come in, that is science, society, and spirituality. You see the connect, the triangle that's connecting the two of them. So that is the journey that I'm currently undertaking. The other thing is that I'm a student of life. Though I have had formal education at the world's most prestigious institution, All India Institute of Medical Sciences, New Delhi. You must be hearing in the media every day, AIMS. And also I was fortunate enough to get educated in Canada at McMaster University in Hamilton, Toronto. So, but other than that, since early days, I've been a student of life, open university students. I've learned a lot in real life, actually. So fortunately, I had the intensive education in science, but most important, I had intensive exposure to the society as well. Now I'm continuing with the journey of spirituality with blessings of Dr. Vishwanath Karad.
Mm-hmm. No, it's beautiful the way you actually brought it up and you merged it from being someone who grew from the very beginning and the way gurus have played in life. I really like this last guru as well, which in fact is teaching us a lot. I have talked to people across the globe and many of them have said that life has become happier. Many couples have not spent months together, even hours together, and they are now staying together and they're finding it very important and it's contributing. So, as I read in the Vedas, that let noble thoughts come to us from everywhere. So you truly said that why not even the corona, which is troubling us, brings us that wave of knowledge and education and importance of what we should focus on. I also read this, that positivity is a key to unlocking good luck. Do you really feel so?
Sorry, I didn't get you the question.
Is the key to unlock good luck?
Key to unlock the good luck. Okay. Before that, you mentioned Aman, about this happiness.
Yes.
I would greatly differ with you in terms of the purpose of life is not happiness. It is not happiness. It is not relief from pain and suffering. The purpose of life that I have understood in my life, it is to be useful, to be honorable, to express sympathy, empathy, and compassion, so that you have lived a life that has made a difference. That's how I understand life. It is to be useful. Fortunately, God has given two hands. The left hand is for yourself, you take care of yourself. The strong right hand, you take care of the others. That's why God has given two hands. So that's the reason, that's the way in which we have to actually work in today's environment. Even with coronavirus spreading, first you got to take care of yourself, then only you can take care of others. So that's that's the meaning of God giving two hands. That's my understanding, why we have two hands. Now, the key to unlocking life, again, I said it starts from your sanskar only. Actually, that's where the seeds are sown. That's why you keep on coming back to your guru, the first guru in your life, the first truth in your life, your mother. And as I said, father is a matter of opinion. So that's your mothers and parents, they are that's the key to your life. Then comes the sanskars, that's where the formative. Then comes the concept of service and sacrifice, science and society, and spirituality. So when you are endowed with all these experiences, you become what I call as an equation form. I'm very fond of equations in life. Knowledge, what we got today studied is information. We have to have a sieving pan, what we call as panning for the gold. Knowledge has to be, information has to be converted into knowledge. Then comes the experience. When you have knowledge plus experience, then you get wisdom. There are two kinds of people in this world, those who are wise and those who are otherwise. But in India, there is a special card, those who supervise. That's the specialty of India. We have wise people, we have otherwise people. We also have a category of people who supervise. So that's what I see there as the essence. The whole synthesis and of all the things put together ultimately is wisdom. And where do you get wisdom? I came across a book, Live Full and Die Empty. Which is the richest library in the world? It's not the United States Library of Congress. It's not. The richest library in the world, you'll be surprised, is the cemetery, the cremation ground. Because what has the cremation ground taken? It has taken people with experience, knowledge and experience. So all the wisdom is in the cemetery. So therefore, I have recently begun, after reading the book, to express myself, and this is a great opportunity Indian Institute of Finance has given to me, Aman, because of a long association. I'm very grateful to you, and I eagerly look forward to share my both knowledge and experience, and most importantly, my wisdom with you all.
We will be troubling you for sure on various other issues and extensively taking up your time in due course. So you should be ready for it, because I have caught hold of what you requested here. In any case, you also mentioned the word spirituality, and you mentioned it multiple times. Spirituality, do you think spirituality gets inspired by positivity? Or is it something else which inspires it?
Yes. I mean, in terms of the positivity and negativity, they coexist. In fact, that's one of the things I learned from my guru, Corona. It gave me a lot of time in my life to introspect. Normally, as I shared with you, I was busy doing outward journey. Out of 365 days, I used to fly 200 days, in a year. And if anybody wanted to meet me, they would meet me at the airport transit lounge. But this 40 days has given me opportunity for inward journey. Now, in life, the thing is that the important principle in life, you accept, beginning to recognize and accept as things they are. There are two things in which you have no choice. The fact that I was born to my parents, it was not my choice. I was just born to them. The fact that I was born in Pune was no choice. I was born to them. The fact that I'm born with a particular color and posture is not my thing. It's a matter of fact. So these cards have been dealt well. These cards have been already dealt. But in real life, the challenge is to play with the cards that you have and to make the most of it. And the challenge is that if there is no life, if there is no problem, if there is no challenge, there is no life. You might as well as go to the cemetery, that I mentioned to you. Might as well go to the cemetery. So in life, the essence of life is problem. Essence of life is challenge. But the key thing, what I told you, my sanskar, service and sacrifice, science and society and spirituality teaches you, is to how to manage these problems, how to manage these challenges in life. And there, the positive attitude, of course, comes very much into play. I'll give an example. As to my students, I used to show them a white paper, and there used to be a black dot in the corner of the paper. Then I told my students that today I'm going to take a surprise test. I'm just going to show you this paper, white paper with a black dot. What do you have to say? So I told them to write their answers. And surprisingly, all 50 out of 50 wrote that they see the black dot. They see the black dot. But I said, life, there is so much of white paper there, so much of white paper. Why do you want to focus your attention on black dot? That's how I look at the problems and challenges in my life. I'm grateful, and I express my gratitude to what I have rather than complain of what I don't have. Now, since in this lockdown period, we don't have a freedom to go outside, but then you had a lot of freedom to, as I said, for inward journey and spend time, high quality time with my family, which was missing all these years. So for me, that's why I said, Corona is my guru. My guru, he's invisible. He's invisible, but he has taught me so many things about myself.
Sure. I also read this, and I would like your insight on this, that spirituality helps walk the talk and recalibrate right response to difficult situations.
That's right. That's right. You put it very well. It's all about calibration and recalibration. Because what the environment, there are certain things in life you cannot change, I said. You can change only yourself. So if the coronavirus is going to affect everybody and anybody, so you have to change yourself. So you have to change yourself. Basically, since I'm a physician and deeply involved in giving advice to the government of India about corona epidemic, that's my area of expertise or learning, I would say. That basically what has happened is there are three things in terms of trying to address the issues related to corona. First is your immunity. You have to build up your immunity. So that's where your physical, mental, social, and spiritual state comes into play. Build up your immunity, build up your defense system. That's number one. Number two, we have been living with viruses. This is not the new thing. We have been living with viruses ever since the human race came on the surface of Earth, and we'll continue to live with viruses. As long as there is human race on this planet Earth, there'll be viruses, there will be bacteria, there'll be protozoa, there'll be fungi. So that's a reality, we need to accept it. For unexplained this corona, I don't know why it was crowned so much. We have been dealing with viruses all along, right from 600 BC. Last 3,000 years, we have been dealing with viruses. So this is nothing new. I am not able to understand, at least as a student of science, as to why this virus has been crowned. It's been crowned all over the world. It's corona. Corona is the crown. I'm not able to understand as a student of science, if you take it in the context of past, which teaches a lot. So that's number one. The other thing is very simple. People have been using the word social distancing. I feel in an Indian environment, it's a very asocial, antisocial, very harsh and a derogatory term. What do you mean by social distance? In Indian setting, it means you are untouchable. Social distance, that's our socio-cultural history. But actually, what as a physician, what we are telling you is keep away at a distance of 1 meter. 1 meter. So the word that I have written about it, move from social distancing to physical space distancing. Physical space distancing with sympathy, with care and concern for him and compassion for him. That's how we should take it. Otherwise, in today's world, Corona has made everybody equal. We are all untouchables. I can't touch you now anymore. You can't touch me. We are all untouchables. So what a kind of a revolution this little fellow from Wuhan has brought. He has made everybody untouchable. And Mahatma Gandhi's concept and his position about untouchabilities. He used to call them Harijan, the children of the God. So this Corona has revolutionized. Sari dunya mein everybody is untouchable today. Everybody is untouchable. So what a great equalizer. That's why I call Corona as my guru. I'm giving evidence as we're talking about why Corona is my guru. So that's number one, the physical distance. So all that you have to do is take an umbrella. There'll be a new norm, they call it new norm. It's a term you must be hearing it again. You start using an umbrella with 1 meter diameter, 1 meter diameter. You'll be automatically away from each other by 1 meter. So follow the Japanese culture. Japan, everybody carries an umbrella. So the whole world will have to start carrying an umbrella. Carry an umbrella with 1 meter diameter, so at a distance. Now the other aspect is linked to very simply to the face hygiene and washroom hygiene. Face hygiene, I'll just talk about it. Why are you wearing mask? In any case, the word persona means we are all wearing masks most of the time, all the time. We never let ourselves know who we are. Only thing is that we got a physical form of mask now these days. Now, the reason we wear mask is not for protecting yourself. You are protecting the others when you use your mask. Because we have this category, we got 6 types of spectrum of illness in corona. Those who are asymptomatic, who don't have any symptoms and apparently healthy. Those who do not have symptoms but are infective. That's what we call as super spreaders. But the tragedy is those people who are spreaders, they themselves don't know that they have a problem, that they are themselves kind of in pink of health. You know, there's a classical case of typhoid Mary. She didn't know that she had typhoid, but she was transmitting, she was a carrier to others. So number 2 is the super spreader. Number 3 is those with mild illnesses, moderate illness, severe illness, and those who are in ICU. These are the 6 types of people. So the second part, the reason you wear mask is basically it acts as a physical barrier. So if I'm a carrier and I'm coughing, it acts as a physical barrier. Therefore, the mask is very, very vital. So the new norm of national dress is umbrella. Second will be the mask. That's the new norm. Now, why do you wear mask? Basically, to stay away from men. You'll be shocked. Why am I saying stay away from men? Men stands for mouth, eyes, and nose. So that physical barrier stands from stay away from mouth, eyes, and nose. You'll be surprised, Aman, that in every day we touch your face, nose, mouth almost 80 to 90 times, and without knowing, that's what happened. So that's why we have to wear the mask. That's why. Now this is what I call as face hygiene. The second reason you use mask is because when you're spitting, when you're sneezing, or when you're sneezing or coughing, these are the 3 things that helps you to protect from the mask. So this is what I call as the face hygiene. So we will have to come to terms with face hygiene. And the new norm of the national race, your umbrella and mask from here. Now comes the washroom hygiene. Hand hygiene is an important part of it. It's an integral part. In fact, this was introduced way back in the 16th century by a scientist called Semmelweis. He was an obstetrician and gynecologist. So he did an experiment. Those people, medical students who went from the dissection hall directly to the wards without washing their hands, he found that the infection rate in that ward is very, very much high. And it was a simple innovation. In fact, when I look back to Vedic scripture, there is a very classical description. They tell you how to wash your hands, how to keep yourself body and clean. It's all there listed. So my another important message to my youth is that please learn Sanskrit, learn Vedic scripture. A lot of the answers and that problems you're facing, the solution our forefathers, they're exceptionally brilliant. They had much advanced vision and science, which we lost because of the medieval history and the new modern history that we are under British Raj. We lost that culture. So this is a time, if India has to be a Vishwaguru, it started with Namaskar. It started with Namaskar. Corona, kya kiya apne chamatkar? Corona, kya kiya apna chamatkar? Aaj sari dunya ek dusre se karti hai namaskar. I just did an analysis of the Namaskar pose. There are 3 ways you greet people. Namaste, Namaskar, and if you had rasam in the morning, you say Namaskaram. Now there are 5 parts integrated of the Namaskar thing. First is that you join your both hands for greetings. Both hands are greetings. This is called the Anjali. This is called Anjali Mudra. You put your hands pressed together, fingers pointing upwards, and thumbs are close to the chest. This is the mudra. This is the Anjali Mudra. The second part is Pranamasana. That when you stand and do the mudra, Anjali Mudra, that's Pranamasana. The third one is what I call as Smita. Smita, that's my contribution. That you have to press hands together, but most important, smile to greet. As a physician, I always say laughter is the best medicine. It's free and it's available all the time. तो हंसते रहो. इसके ऊपर मैंने एक शेर लिखा है. कोरोना कोरोना इससे क्यों डरना, इसके क्यों रोना, कोरोना कोरोना इससे क्यों डरना, इससे क्यों रोना। इसका इलाज तो हम सबके पास है, इसका इलाज तो हम सबके साथ है। अमन के इंस्टीट्यूट में आइए, इंडियन इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ फाइनेंस, हम इकट्ठा होके खूब हंसना, कोरोना कोरोना बिल्कुल मत डरना, बिल्कुल मत रोना। तो ये तो इलाज हमारे पास है, हंसते रहिए, सेलिब्रेट द लाइफ। दैट्स द मोस्ट प्रीशियस रिसोर्स you have.
Yeah, I was coming to this only
I
now.
just want to tell about Namaskar because I did analysis today morning, because of this
Yes.
function. That after you touch, put your both hands together, bring them, then you bow down. That's a respect. And when you say Namaskar, it's a communication that is taking place from you. I am bowing down to the divine in yourself. मैं आपका जो आत्मा है उससे मैं मिलना चाहता हूँ, उसको मैं अपना परिणाम करता हूँ. See, look at the rich cultural interpretation of Namaskar. अगर हम शेक हैंड हियर ओनली शेक हैंड करते रहते तो हमें भूल जाते सब. तो इट्स अ रिवाइवल. When you look for questions, when you look for answers, all the answers are there in Vedic scripture. नमस्कार के देखो मुझे पहली बार पता चला इस कार्यक्रम की वजह से. For the first time I realized, I tried to understand that नमस्कार has five components, which I just shared with you. So ये तो कोरोना का चमत्कार हुआ. कोरोना ये क्या चमत्कार, सारी दुनिया करती है एक दूसरे को नमस्कार. तो इसलिए कोरोना मेरा गुरु है.
Sure, I fully agree. You mentioned the word celebrate, and that's what I was going to come to next, was that, you have lived life, you have been traveling across the globe like a frog hopping from one zone to the other in the country and overseas. Now, and you have been introspecting, as you rightly said, in the last 2 months, into your own perceptions, in your own life, spending time with your family. And they must be surprised as well. They must have not seen you so long, any part of their life ever. How do you go about celebrating life?
Well, the most important and precious resource in life, can you guess? It's not money. It's time.
Time. True.
Possibly, I may know how much bank balance I have. These days, I'm not getting paid anyway because of the corona. I don't know how much my bank balance, but I don't know how much time I have. So this is the most precious resource that one has. And Alexander the Great gave this important message that may God give us plenty of time, and may we have the wisdom to give it away so that we can live, love, and die in peace. Most important resource is your time. हिंदी में कहा है, जिंदगी वही जो है जो हम आज जी रहे हैं. जिंदगी वही है जो आज हम जी रहे हैं. कल जो जिएंगे वो तो उम्मीद होगी, सिर्फ उम्मीद होगी. So celebrate the moment. As I said, you may know how much balance you have, bank balance, but you don't know how much time you have. So let's celebrate each moment that we have. Make the uncertain moment certain and live in present by celebrating. That's a very important lesson. Now, I have not learned it, but I have experienced it because of my Guru Corona. That's why I call Corona my Guru.
I have 4 more questions before I open the house for questions, and everyone who is interested may kindly raise their hands. 4 more questions before we open it up. I also read, and I know that you have this point of view on happy living, but I read that invest in yourself to induce growth and happy living. Do you think it's important to do that? Invest in yourself.
Oh, yes.
Happy living.
I would say that most certainly, as I said, left hand, invest in yourself. But most important, let your strong right hand you follow the principle of being useful in life. The most important thing is not happiness, but it is to be useful. It is to be honorable. It is to express sympathy, empathy, and compassion. That's how I look at life,
So, I'm not wanting to make you a forecaster, but certainly I would like your opinion on having seen different colors of life in the last 6 decades across the globe, and what goes on. Countries, economies, civilizations have gone through, as you rightly said, pandemics for over 3,000 years. Virus is not new. So how do you see the life shaping up in the next 6 months to a year?
Back to normal. Because number one, that you have to accept that this is a part of the history. This corona, I don't understand. In fact, Aman, there are 6 pandemics going on in the world. Six, not one pandemic. First is the pandemic of corona, which we can address very well. As I say, it's nothing new. It's been there. Before corona, there was SARS. There were other viruses were there. So it's nothing new that I don't know why he got a special treatment and a welcome thing. So that's first pandemic is pandemic of corona. Second pandemic in today's world is pandemic of over information. You look at any channel, like in newspaper, 90% they're talking of corona only. बाकी का कुछ रोना है वो बताते ही नहीं है, सिर्फ कोरोना की बात कर रहे हैं. So it's a pandemic of over information. The third pandemic is pandemic of misinformation, disinformation, incomplete information, distorted information. And the fourth pandemic is we have experts, we have Google experts, people who have no training in this public health, in epidemiology, in behavioral sciences. They come to the screen as experts, Google experts. We have a famous cardiothoracic surgeon saying that BCG is given for prevention of smallpox. BCG, tuberculosis ke liye hota hai. Smallpox has gone. We have eradicated. We have celebrated the moment. In my own institute, way back in 1977, we had a very special function when Dr. Karan Singh was the Honorable Health Minister. After Malo was the WHO Director. We gave a Nataraja as a present to them. 1977, the world was declared as small free. That Nataraja is there in the headquarters of Geneva. Is still there. So that event took place in the Jawaharlal Nehru Auditorium or Institute. और ये कह रहे कि BCG vaccine smallpox को बचाता है. ये है. These are what I call as Google experts. The fifth pandemic is the pandemic of fear. Pandemic of fear. In fact, among the fear is much more serious, much more sustained than the disease itself. ये तो pandemic of fear है. That's where actually we have to give the right information. Talk to the right people with right expertise to get the right answers. Even today, as long as I was seeing yesterday some show on the television, it's surprising that the interpretation of the data that they receive is very, very superficial. The basic principle of epidemiologists is we are people who are in search of denominator. What you hear in the media is floating numerators. They don't say anything. You're an economist. You know it very well. What gives context is the denominator. Ye log sirf floating number batate, floating. That's number one. Second thing is they don't give any disaggregated information. Disaggregated information is available in terms of age, gender, mobility, professional, and the other comorbidities that patient has: hypertension, diabetes, asthma, lung disease, kidney disease, and those who are on immunosuppression treatment like cancer. And then those people are taking drugs for mental illness. वो जरूरी है. वो जानकारी कोई नहीं देता है. I wrote to the Secretary to the Government of India. I wrote to the Secretary about 2 weeks back. What I see is deafening silence, deafening silence. Nobody wants to enter into that area. But bhai, you have to use evidence-based disinformation. You have to use evidence-based information to make so that you can come to a decision and you take decision on an informed basis. ये तो ऐसा ही चल रहा है. चला मेला चल रहा है ऐसा without any number बताते हैं. रोज शाम को आते. They conduct a press conference, utter some numbers without giving us the reasons as to how they were collected, where they collected, whom were they collected from, what does it mean, which direction are we going. Nobody comes to the root. Nobody comes to the root. That's where this expertise in epidemiology, public health, and behavioral sciences comes in. Behavioral science is very important because we're changing so many habits, so many norms are taking place. And the third component of the national dress, that is, one is the umbrella, second is the mask, third is instead of keeping wallet in your front pocket, you now carry sanitizer. So there is a new national round. Yes.
True. No. In fact, the last one which you mentioned of the pandemic of fear, at the institute we have been working on it.
I must dismiss the most important pandemic of misery. Pandemic of misery. That's what we are going through because of lockdown. As somebody said, when it is lockdown, you are in your wife's custody. When it is lockup, you are in police custody. So you are moving from one custody to another custody. This pandemic of misery, this lockdown, to my mind, actually Sweden did the most sensible thing. They lived a natural experiment. I mean, I really still to date understand, number one, why was this declared as a pandemic? I don't understand. I still don't understand as a matter of science. I'm prepared to learn. I'm ignorant about this, but I want to understand what is the criteria the World Health Organization used to call this as a pandemic. What is it? I would like to learn from that. And that is really spread across the world, So one thing is that there is more than pandemic part to it. There must be some other panning factors that come into play. This is a hypothesis everybody's talking about, but I'm saying it in public for the first time. It's a panning pandemic. I don't know why they call it pandemic.
True.
The death rates due to corona are 0.5%. 0.5% from the months of January to March 2020. Only 5% of the 100% deaths are contributed by corona. और उसकी बात कर रहे हैं corona. I know it's a serious disease. It's highly transmissible, but now the kind of response that we are given, I would call it as a knee-jerk response and highly exaggerated response. One side, you have taken all the steps for flattening the curve, but other side, you have flattened everything as if the other, so the world is today divided into corona positive and corona negative. Corona negative are the people who are diabetes, who are in terminal illness, who are dying, hunger, my area, hunger. 8,000 children die every day because of hunger, every day. और हमारा डेथ रेट कोरोना से पिछले कितने महीने से इज क्रॉस 1000 8,000 बच्चे रोज मर रहे हैं भूखमरी से उसके बारे में कोई नहीं बात कोई नहीं रोता उसके सब सिर्फ कोरोना की बात करते हैं so actually it has precipitated and I want to share one very moving episode with you. These migrants laborers going back to their homes, what a tragedy there was a strip shown to me yesterday where the laborers going back from Jalandhar to Bihar. He was walking by the canal side and the reporter asked me, कि आप ये रास्ते से क्यों चल रहे हो? Or walking by the canal side. He said, there are police there on the main road. They don't allow us to walk on the highways. So then the reporter asked me, did you have anything to eat? He said, no, I didn't have anything to eat. But I was very well greeted by policeman's danda on my feet. You know, मैंने पेट में कुछ नहीं खाया, लेकिन मेरे पीठ ने बहुत कुछ खाया, डंडे खाए. What a tragedy. 70 years of independence. This is how we treat our own brothers and sisters. I am really very ashamed. And this is what is leading to me insomnia. This is the major cause of my insomnia. Sleepless nights. You know, I've been to Washington, Seattle, see the film Sleepless in Seattle, which actually happened in Seattle. After one, the next epicenter was Seattle. But this is sleepless nights I'm having when I hear these stories. Very, very sad, very moving. For what? Let the natural experiment take. You build up your immunity. And in fact, this is time. Ayurveda has got different preparations to build up your immunity. Why don't you use them? Ashwagandha, you know, we're doing some work on that. You have Chavanprash, you have simple remedies as haldi ka pani, adrak, tulsi ka patta. These are time-tested remedies for that. Build up your immunity. And then take the precautions I said, carry an umbrella, observe face hygiene, then observe washroom hygiene. ये चीज करनी है इसमें क्या है क्या बड़ी चीज है but I know it's important habit. It's very, very difficult to change a habit and to make a habit. And that's where I need my friends from behavioral sciences. They know how to do it. Why do people behave the way they behave? That answer I don't know. So I need behavioral scientists. So I need expertise in every field. यहाँ खाली जो cardiologist है, जो cardiac surgeon है, जो gastroenterologist है, जो orthopedic surgeon है, वो जाके बात करते हैं. They talk about it. कोरोना कैसे करना चाहिए. ये हमारे देश का रोना है. जिन लोगों को कुछ पता नहीं, वो बता रहे कि कोरोना को कैसे मैनेज करना. बदकिस्मत है.
True. No, I fully agree. And I hope this message goes to the right authorities because it's important that we need to live with it and we need to understand that we have been living with it. And what you have outlined is very important. The Indian medicinal values of Ayurveda and yoga and other things are being now adopted world over, even in the Washington, D.C., in capital, prime ministers, presidents across the globe are adhering to it, and we still are not looking at some of these solutions.
Aman, I just want to tell you that I also redefined GDP, which is our favorite subject, gross domestic product.
I will come to that.
An article on the well-being of economy, the well-being of economy, and introduce a dimension of holistic health. The World Health Organization talks of physical, mental, and social health, which is absence of disease or infirmity. But I've introduced the aspect of holistic health, which talks of physical, social, intellectual, emotional, spiritual, occupational, environmental, and economic health. ये holistic health का definition होना चाहिए, holistic health. And I've said that we should move towards gross national happiness, which Bhutan is doing. You know, let's learn from our neighbors. Leave aside GDP. In any case, one single figure for a country like India, gross domestic product doesn't say anything. One figure doesn't say anything because the average hides all the details. Again, we'll have to have a disaggregate data. I would say even to the extent, because you are a very globally famous economist, at the district level, we should have it. Now the whole system is moving from PM to CM to DM. DM is the main person, from Prime Minister, Chief Minister to District Magistrate. So in case we want to make an advance, today we have to have disaggregate data. This is what Mahatma Gandhi said, Gram Swaraj. That's the Gram Swaraj he was talking. I think Balwantara Mehta way back in 1955 introduced the concept of block development. We are going back to it, 70 साल के बाद. So Corona ने कितना, what a revolution has Corona done. We are back to Gram Swaraj. We got to what Bapuji said. And this is the 150th birth anniversary of Bapuji. What messages he gave? स्वच्छता परमात्मा का दूसरा नाम. cleanliness is next to godliness. वही observe कर रहे हैं बापू जी के 150th birth anniversary में. 150th birth anniversary we are focusing our attention to Gram Swaraj. और दूसरा क्या है Gram Swaraj? The second thing is I want to tell you, I look at these events as a triangle. There is a sound scientific based evidence knowledge that is there. This is on the other side of the triangle. There is society, there is science, and there is statesmanship that's there. Statesmanship, I consider the difference between statesmanship and politician as such, that politicians generally think of the next elections and these days of the next by-elections, but a statesman thinks of the next generation. So on this triangle axis, one we have the science, then you have a statesman. But most important, we are a democratic country. That's society. Was the society ever taken into consideration? Did anybody ask them as to why we are having lockup at 4 hours short notice? Why are having step 1 lockup, step 2, step 3? Democracy, we are supposed to be democracy, the world's largest democracy. Have you asked the people? Have you asked the people what do you want? And today we have technology to ask the people. We have the most, I think in terms of the mobile phones, we would be, I don't know the numbers, but there were a large number of people. Pucho na, you ask them, they have an instrument in hand. Please ask people. The society has not participated in this entire exercise. This is not entire exercise. So that's another tragedy. That's what I call as the pandemic of misery. Let there be a vibrant democracy. Once again, I appeal to the powers that be. Please ask the people what they want. Don't have a harsh police raj on them. Especially, I was very disturbed. कि उसने बोला पेट में तो कुछ खाना नहीं लगा लेकिन पीठ ने तो बहुत खाया पुलिस के डंडे खाए ये है हमारी डेमोक्रेसी people are walking 300 kilometers 500 kilometers 1000 kilometers with young children meeting strangers and the strangers are becoming part of the extended family इसके लिए परिवार बन गया सारे देश के लिए ये दुनिया एक बाजार है सारे देशों के लिए ये दुनिया बाजार है भारत एकमात्र देश है मेरा भारत एकमात्र देश है जिसके लिए दुनिया परिवार है वसुधैव कुटुंबकम. That is practiced in today's. You see the families going, they didn't know each other a minute before, but they started sharing the stories of depression, anger, hatred, hopelessness. They became a family. That's the culture of my country. That's the culture of my country. And there the people's power is the supreme power. I am pleading with humble hands, with namaskar, with bowing to them, to the powers that be concerned. Democracy, please ask the people, ask them what they want.
True. I have last 2 questions for you before I open the house. It's got a little extended though. One is that, you already mentioned some part of it, but what do you think governments could do globally, not in India in specific, globally, to ensure smooth induction of growth and happy living?
Globally, as I said, this virus has taught us very important concept. The entire world is a family. That's one thing. So henceforth, everything has to be taken from global context. And this was part of my rich heritage, rich culture, which India was very proud. So they were Kutumbakam. It required Corona to emerge and to share this concept. So globally, we have to be together. Most important. Second thing is we have to share each other's experiences. Let's learn from success. Let's learn from failure. But most importantly, let's learn from success. But somehow I find the Indian side, we seem to be very, very shy of learning from success. I don't know why that psyche is there. So let's share from the success. Let's share from the failures as well. Important learnings are there. So in life, you must know what to do and what not to do, equally important. And actually, it's reflected in my scriptures. Ramayana, when you read Ramayana, it tells you in life what to do. क्या करना चाहिए और रामायण आपको बताता है. Mahabharat in life it tells you what not to do. क्या करना नहीं चाहिए ये महाभारत की सीख है. इस देश में वो दोनों है रामायण और महाभारत. इसका इक्वेशन बोले तो मेरा बन जाता है राम भारत होता है. रामायण का ज्ञान निकाल दो महाभारत का महा निकाल दो तो मेरा राम भारत है. उससे सीखो ना. सब कुछ है. What to do, what not to do in life. That is the major lessons to the world. Second thing is about this disaggregation, equity. That's going to be very, very major challenge that we are facing. There will be only 2 categories of people in this life. In fact, 4 categories of socioeconomic status. Those who are rich and those who are very rich, those who are poor and those who are very poor. It's staring at us. It's staring at us. Those who are corona positive, those who are corona negative. But we are all untouchables at the end of the day. So this is an important change that's going to take place. This discrepancy, growing discrepancy, as it was already there in our country, but it has widened. This corona has widened this gap very much, because of high rate of unemployment, productivity delays, wages loss. And this is the real life, real life. You need a denomination to buy the goods and services that you want, and you haven't had them. You haven't had them. You're leading your life from hand to mouth. So it's going to be a very, very major challenge for the world governments at large. If you consider the world as a family, we have to be together. In fact, Aman, these boundaries are very artificial. Artificial. Classic example is Bharat, Pakistan, Bangladesh. We are one. Afghanistan was also part of India. And what they did in Africa, they took a stick and just do the way left, center, right, they do the countries. These are all artificial barriers, very artificial barriers. So let us stay together as family. And that's where I say the principles of sympathy, empathy, and compassion come. Compassion. His Holiness Dalai Lama is a very important word, compassion. Let's make an every effort to eliminate other person's pain and suffering. Pain and suffering. Rajiv Mehrotra is a very dear friend of mine. I've learned a lot from him about compassion. He's my guru. He's my guru. In fact, he's very close to His Holiness Dalai Lama. His Holiness. He is the secretary of the Foundation for Universal Responsibility. And I learned from Rajiv. He's my guru. He's my guru about compassion. He teaches me what compassion means. But most importantly, he makes me experience what compassion means. So Rajiv, aapko bhi dhanyawad.
As a guru all your life, you have given advices and mentored and carved the lives of, I would say, thousands of young minds who are working across the globe now within the country and outside. What would be your advice in these times for the youth and the students?
Most important, and the first, time is the most precious resource. Time management, very important, very, very important. Because you don't know, as I told you, आज ये है वो जीवन जीते कल तो उम्मीद है. You don't know about uncertainty. So you please use it very well, very precious resource. So what I would suggest is time with discipline. Lead a disciplined life. Third thing is have concern for others. People live for them, even animals live for themselves. But as human beings, as a evolved race, that's why God has given two hands. Do that. The fourth thing is hard work. There is no substitute for hard work. In fact, yes. Rishi Kapoor, in his interview on his deathbed, he said, Ki beta, someone sang, one of the doctors, one of the staff sang a song for him. He said, बेटा आप बहुत अच्छे बढ़ेंगे फिल्म इंडस्ट्री में, लेकिन एक चीज मत भूलिएगा, आपको मेहनत करना पड़ेगा. You have to work hard. When you work hard, you also enjoy harder. But most important, you have to work hard. That's what Rishi Kapoor said. He said इसमें किस्मत का जरूर है, किस्मत का थोड़ा सा रोल है, लेकिन आपको मेहनत तो करनी पड़ेगी. So I would say precious time, discipline, concern for others, hard work, but also celebrate. Keep smiling, keep laughing. In fact, in some campuses, I see this slogan, I see the boards, "Yahan thukna mana hai," which is very good. Now it's become a criminal offense. No smoking is allowed, no smoking, no ragging, no drinking. But some campuses have a board, no laughing. Haste nahi hai. No laughing in this campus. They're so serious about it. It's such a gift, precious gift. Laughter, the best medicine. And inculcate the music and dance your life. Where medicine fails, music heals. Where medicine fails, dances come into play. Where medicine fails, the prayers come into play. So there are so-called, what they call as non-pharmacological interventions, which has been a rich cultural heritage. That's what Corona, my guru, has taught me. Get them into life. Have fun, have dance, enjoy yourself, talk to yourself. I talk to animals, I talk to plants, I talk to inanimate things. मैं कंप्यूटर को रोज सुबह I do नमस्कार कि भाई आज मेरी सेवा करने दो तो मैं कुछ काम नहीं कर सकूंगा. I was quite apprehensive whether I'll be there on the screen or not. So सबसे पहले सबसे उठ के मैंने मेरे लैपटॉप को नमस्कार किया कि आपके आशीर्वाद चाहिए तभी मैं आगे जा सका. इस तरह से एटीट्यूड ले, keep change in attitude, tremendous change in attitude. When you change your attitude based on knowledge, you change your behavior, and then it becomes your practice. But the most important challenge we have today in terms of Corona is change in attitude, practice, and behavior. बहुत बड़ा है. A lot of changes have taken in a very short period of time. ये तो tsunami of changes में. एक तरफ से Corona आया, दूसरे से tsunami of changes have taken place. And in between, Delhi also experienced earthquake. So we got feelers from every angle. He has told, nature has told the human beings, please stay where you are. Behave yourself. Also, I also catch it back. ये बहुत बड़ा lesson हमको मिला. That this planet belongs to everybody. In fact, in Sanskrit language, we have prayed before doing yajna. The Rutvik is also my son's name. The priest used to say, "Let there be peace for human beings. Let there be peace for animals. Let there be peace for flowers. Let there be peace for animals. Let there be peace for everybody." सबके लिए है. So
True.
Sanskrit, go back to various scriptures. Go back to, if you want to know how to live today in India, how to live in India in future, the world will have to go. That's the position I'm looking at. India as a Vedic leader, world guru leader. India, my Bharat. The word Bharat means, you know what? One that gives enlightenment. Bharat, when you do is enlightenment. So that's the enlightenment, the knowledge sharing, the knowledge dissemination, the knowledge management my country is going to give to the rest of the world. इसलिए मैं कोरोना को गुरु मानता हूँ.
I'll now open the house for questions for people to ask, and I'll go with Professor Ashok Laha, who is an adjunct professor with the institute, but otherwise he's from United States of America. He is running an entrepreneur, started his servicing career, and then became an entrepreneur and runs a company both in the US and India, headquartered in the US. I'll request Ashok to ask the question, and I understand this Dr. Sonali Patnaik would like to ask a question, so I will go to her after that. Ashok. Please go ahead.
Dr. Pandey, thank you very much. Thank you. Before I started, I was amazed by your presentation. It is a wonderful presentation. I learned a lot. From it, and I think, in all fairness to you, your definition of the guru, I probably start talking with you as a guru, my guru. There's so much things I learned here in this meeting. Is wonderful. There are two other things before I start the question. Two other things I learned from you today is that you want to matriculate. So am I. You went to the Canada, McMaster. So am I. I went to Canada on the west coast, not the east coast.
British Columbia, Vancouver.
No, not Vancouver, Saskatchewan.
Saskatchewan, yeah.
Saskatchewan.
The first province to start health insurance, actually. Saskatchewan was the first province in Canada.
Yeah.
Because I went for my graduation in health economics there.
Yeah, University of Saskatchewan. I went engineering. So there are two commonality there. I hope that someday I'll get a chance to meet you in person. You have learned your treatment quite a lot. Now, given the fact today, that today the economy is almost devastated. Economy devastated. So what are the things you advise people, like a business people like us? What are things we do? Our revenues almost went down the drain.
All along my life, my business of life has been taking care of children and mothers for their well-being. But whatever little I understood from market economy, actually there has to be a business of trust. Actually, currency, the denomination you have explained, is just a medium of exchange. You have these Mahatma Gandhi stacked in banks, just a medium of exchange. And historically, we had one Muslim king, Muhammad bin Taghlaq. He introduced leather coins. And in the ancient Romans, they used to give salt as a salary. That's the word salary is derived from the salt. That's my area of expertise. So I think most important currency you will have is currency of trust. Currency of trust you must have. Does it cost anything? Currency of counseling, currency of caring, currency of compassion. Now there is an acute shortage. It's philosophical, you must be talking. That's also very important. That's why I got the definition of holistic health into action. Economics is only one part of the 6 aspects of the 8 aspects. It's only one 8th portion. There is environmental, there is occupational, there is physical, there is mental, there is social, there is emotional, there is spiritual definition. Look at the other dimension. Now coming back to the economic part. Today you will have to upfront give some kind, those who can give. That's why I said God has given 2 hands. Left hand you take care of yourself, right hand you give. Those who are in a position to give. But most important, have a currency of trust, currency of caring, currency of caring. Because as I mentioned earlier, life is not about happiness, it's about being useful. And this is the time to be useful. It is to be honorable, it is to be caring, It is to express and experience sympathy, empathy, and compassion. That's what life is. So it changed the entire dimension of looking at things. So that's my humble submission to you. As I said, I'm not a economist, market economist, but whatever little I learned in health economics, those principles I'm sharing.
Thank you. The another last question is that it's a comment. I still don't understand. I think what you made a point why it is such a big pandemic, corona. 1968-69, I went to the research. 1968-69, there is something called flu, Asian flu attacked in US. There are 100,000 people, over 100,000 people that died in US. But the US opened normal, business didn't close, everything was normal, everything else happened. They accepted their life, that there will death will come in, and 100,000 people died. So, and the press didn't pay attention to it too much. There are some articles in the press. I picked up some articles from the press right now, but nothing happened. But here right now, it's almost like a whole world is blowing up. Whereas you just said, very small percentage of the people that died, there are more than people die in a car accident. Why is it?
Good questions. Good questions. Let us together, since we share so many things in common, we share our matriculation degree, we share Canada. Let's together ask this question openly now, and to people that matter, who take decisions on behalf of democracy. Decisions are taken on behalf of 135 million people. 135 million. That is the constituency we have. We have to ask our people for it. So let's do it together. Let's do it together. Let's be together. This is why I call Corona once again my guru. Otherwise, I would have never met you in my life.
Yeah.
Never met you. Only Aman would have told me that you're a friend in such one in Canada.
Yeah.
Corona की इसलिए मैं गुरु मानता हूँ कि आपसे हमें मुलाकात हुई. आपसे मुलाकात हुई.
Yeah. I definitely meet you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Professor La, and thank you, Pandav Saab, to have said so. In any case, I'm just a medium, and I hope I can do some justice to bringing positivity to life, as you rightly pointed out throughout your discussion, which is a very important component, is that attitude change we need. I'll go to Dr. Sonali Patnaik, if you can kindly introduce yourself and then ask your question. After that, I'll go to Gunzo and then Debarati. Yes, Dr. Sonali.
Namaskar, sir. Pranam Pandav, sir. So good to hear you and see you. I haven't seen you for quite some time now since the lockdown has happened. I'm Sonali Patnaik. I'm a biological anthropologist, and we have been working on this COVID-19 issue on humanitarian grounds, reaching out to people. Pandav sir has really opened our thinking today by talking about the Vedic culture and the triangle, and actually understanding what pranam and namaskar means. So I have also the fact that, we are redefining what is vulnerability. Today, I mean, we have categories, the government has categories of people who are vulnerable, but then the coronavirus has been an equalizer, and we need to actually redefine who is vulnerable now. So it's not just people in rural areas or staying in slums, but then there is a wide range of people, and there's a new definition of vulnerability that we are looking in. Thank you, sir, for opening that up in this discussion also. What I find most interesting is whether this lockdown has been productive or not for us as individuals, as working people. So what should be, what would sir actually tell us about being more productive? Especially because, working from home now is the new mantra. So how are we going to be reaching out? Although sir says that we are going to have a normal again, but is this going to be a new normal for us, or is it, we are redefining it? And also, sir has a beautiful concept of the word water lily, which he has often told us. So I would like sir to share that concept with all of us, with everyone, because it does link to productivity, and it's wonderful the way he actually talks about it. So sir, if you could share the water lily concept and about being more productive with all of us, it would be wonderful.
Thank you very much, Sonali. Sonali, thank you very much. Uh, Actually, I am seeing two Indias, as I said, even from my limited exposure and understanding. There is India and there is Bharat. The India comes by planes, chartered planes, long distance. My Bharat walks along, khali pet or pit ke upar maar kha ke my Bharat walks 300 kilometers, 500 kilometers. A lot of people die in the process. Hunger, hunger. That's the Bharat. India will be able India and there will be vulnerable India. Able and vulnerable India. There will be digital India and there will be like in physical Bharat. ये मेरे से at least मेरी तरफ से this is a wide dichotomy that's coming up. India, able India, India, Bharat vulnerable, India digital, India physical. That gap is widening. That's my understanding. Poor are becoming more poor. Rich are becoming rich will become more rich. That's my understanding of the economics of it. That's number one. Number two, I would share with yesterday by coincidence. I listened to Shiv Khera, the great motivational speaker, about this. Now, what we are here is we have to use this time. As I said, time is the most important resource. You have to use this time to upgrade your skills. Upgrade your skills. Now, for example, the hospitality industry is finished. No travels, no hotels, the entire industry that is fashion. It will take some time to recover. It will take some time to recover. Especially if you start using word social distancing instead of physical space distancing, it will take a time to recover. It's just disappear. So we'll have to think of new ways of acquiring skills. The most important thing is I keep on coming to Bapuji, Mahatma Gandhi. He said Gram Swarajya concept. Everything should be available in the nearby vicinity. And right now, as I said in my service to the nation as a member of the National Nutrition Council, we are mapping the local crops, that can be produced. I was spending a time in, I think you were there with me when we visited Rajasthan. We were speaking to Sarpanch and we were talking about high protein diet and the reintroduction. Well, sugarcane has taken, sugarcane has taken all the irrigation of water and all the fields. Some people have become sweet, but it has left a bitter taste in poor people's mind. Bitter taste. So ragi, Nachni, International Year of Millets was last year. So we are coming back again to the same thing. Balanced diet. Balanced diet was a very integral part. In fact, there are references in Bhagavad Gita about what to eat, how much to eat, and when to eat. It's Shyam Benegal. I'm also interested in films. Shyam Benegal had made a documentary film called The Child's Horoscope. The Child's Horoscope was a plate with a balanced diet. 1-year child eats half the quantities that adults requires. I'm trying to get hold of that film, The Child's Horoscope. But what today we see is Child's Horoscope. Horoscope. That's the only change we have done. English language added 2 more hours, 2 more hours. And that's really my concern. In fact, as a member of the National Nutrition Council, I have pleaded I've done namaskar in the morning to the concerned authorities that we must meet. We must meet now. Now, today is the answer. We can't wait for tomorrow. So I hope they'll listen to my plea. I said, it's not because I'm spending sleepless nights. क्योंकि इस सफर में हम नींद खो गए, हम ना सोए, आखिर रात भी थक कर सो गए. कब तक इंतजार करेंगे? But actually, these 40 days have been very turbulent days for me. Very, very turbulent.
True.
Lily. Gold. Lily is a beautiful flower anyway. It doesn't require anything. But you have to have extra skin. That's the upskilling part I'm talking. You very beautifully expressed. Gilding the lily. You have to learn the skill of upskilling, gilding the lily. It doesn't require. Lily is a beautiful flower on its own. But the upskilling that I'm talking about, you have to learn to gild the lily.
Yes, just to add to what Dr. Pandav has said, in the last 25 interviews which I have conducted so far on the same topic, people from different walks of life, including actresses and dancers and classical dancers and people from completely all different walks of life. one thing which has come out as common is that people have grown happier by the end of the day because they've grown closer to their families. They've had time to introspect, as Dr. Pandav said, one needs to introspect. They've looked at their structures. I spoke the other day, she's going to be speaking. She's a dean of a school in Turkey, and she says, I work with my husband, and my husband is based in Istanbul, and I'm based in Izmir, which is the capital, and we hardly meet each other. And now for the last 2 months, we are living together and we are exploring and we are seeing our child is benefiting, our family, our parents are benefiting. Although we are maintaining the distancing, which is being all out, the physical distance, as Dr. Pandav rightly said. But, you know, at the end of the day, when people introspect and see, they see that they're more happier with this particular forced structure which has come off the God Corona or the Guru Corona, as Dr. Pandav has put forward. I think this is something which is an additional benefit. And this is coming out as common amongst all the interviews which I have come across in the last 25 days, people from all walks of life. Now I'll go to Dr. Junzo Watada, if he may kindly ask his question. Dr. Watada is a professor from Waseda University, Japan. He's currently in Petronas University as the head of the Department of Managerial Sciences at Malaysia.
Guru, Dr. Chandrakant, Anda, Namaskaram. I was impressed of your talk, and I recalled different things. For example, we had flu 1969, but it was quite limited in the United States. But also SARS was not so over all the world, only within the China, not so much influence. Therefore, the corona is quite different from this. But still, we had the Black Death, 14th century. Several of the million people were killed, even in Europe, not only Europe, all over the world. So it was very much influential. But we have recently some AIDS and HIV. This is influenced all over the world, but influence was not so big. At that time, we worried about influence, but not comparing with corona. And also we know Ebola. Ebola also quite limited, very influential, relating DNA. Our immune mechanism was broken. So but anyway, we had various disease. So I would like to ask, how do you think this corona, of course, some person, we should prepare poorness for 2 years. We should prepare and save the money and not to spend so much money for 2 years. Economy cannot be recovered. So how should we do economically our own individual daily life? How do you think about corona influence in future, even the more than 2 years, 10 years? How do you think, your opinion about the influence of the corona?
So which country are you from, you sir?
He's from Japan.
He's from Japan.
Originally Japanese. My behind the culture is Japanese Buddhism or Confucianism, but it is coming from something from India, very similar to Hinduism.
Yes, yes.
But anyway, I'll talk on the next my talking days, more my culture.
Arigato gozaimashita. Arigato gozaimashita. Arigato
Thank
gozaimashita.
you very much.
I had a chance to visit Japan many times. So one important learning lesson we are taking from Japan is already carry an umbrella. Carry an umbrella. Umbrella with 1 meter diameter. So you're talking about your lives. Carry an umbrella. But your country is the one, your country, my dear friend, my dear brother, is the one which has taught the world what happened after Hiroshima and Nagasaki. With Professor Vishwanath Karad, I went to Hiroshima. You have risen from the dust. You have risen from the dust. So the kind of collective
Very good. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll now go to Debarati, if we can ask a question. Debarati is one of our graduate students from the MBA program. Debarati Das. Please go ahead, Mrs. Debarati Das. Just a second. Go ahead, Debarati, please.
Hello, good afternoon, sir. Namaste, sir. Sir, my question is to you that we know that the coronavirus, we learn many things from that situation, although this is a trying time, but we are learning many things from this situation, how to overcome all the situation, how to be strong enough. But at this situation, the situation is creating some panic in our mind. It is unwanting panic, but it is creating some panic, like us, the students, the future. I think in this situation 99% students are the job whatever is already offered to them, they are holding, the jobs are holding, the many uncertainty is just around creating the panic. So what are the solution you are suggesting to us, that we may be calm and quiet, we may be preparing for future when the corona we can overcome this situation?
First of all, I very much appreciate, that's the right question in your mind. What about me for tomorrow? Today we are here, what do you do for tomorrow? I shared the Shiv Khera's motivational speech, that if there is no problem, there is no life. You're as good as dead. So accept that there will be problems, there will be challenges, number one. That's the first readjustment you have to do. Second thing I talked about upskilling or alternative skilling. Definitely, we'll have to position. One thing I just shared with you from my little understanding of the market is the hospitality industry is just going to take a lot of time to recover. Now the focus is on hospitals, not on hospitality industry. Second thing is, I work with Rajiv Sethi. Rajiv Sethi is Padma Bhushan Rajiv Sethi. He's a cultural ambassador. He's the one who started Festivals of India. There is so much wealth lying amongst our society. He's working in tribal areas, such rich cultural areas. So we have to follow the thing, be Indian, buy Indian. Be Indian and buy Indian. So much of process we have. What innovation? In fact, I was told I was supposed to go to Jharkhand, They have such beautiful face masks, As the part of their culture. You start using those face masks, bring some color into your life. So when I have to think, I gave an example, we have to think out of the box. Thinking out of the box. To such an extent that you destroy the old box and make your new box. So your perception of activities will have to be. If you look at activities of daily life, about this homegrown food, terrace gardening, so what Sunita Narayan is saying, respect for the nature. There's so much we can do together. I mean, we have been so cruel. 5th of June is the World Environment Day. We've been so cruel to Mother Nature. The next 15 years, we'll have to plant how many trees? 3 trillion trees to bring back Earth back to normal. 3 trillion in the next 15 years. We are late by 150 years. We are already late by 1. So this has given a shock to us. It has given a shock that we have to have mutual respect for everybody, every living being. In fact, from Menka Gandhi, I learned about caring for the animals. And there were a lot of rumors going about dogs infecting patients with corona, cats coming. So I come out very clearly. In fact, they are the innocent people. You human beings are infecting them. and you are unnecessarily blaming them for that. So you develop love for animals. There's so much to see. We have lost, I stay in South Delhi. Now I realized when I was looking out of the window this morning, the green color, the variation of green color is so much. Just beautiful. I mean, I started counting the leaves on the tree. That's how I spend most of the time relaxing. But green has so many shades. So experience the area around you, and then these have to be. I mean, I don't have any prescription as a physician. I'm not very fond of giving prescription because gone are the days we used to write RX, thou shalt take. Today we don't prescribe anything unless I ask the patient, what do you want? It's your body, your health, your disease. You tell me what you want. I'll tell you what needs to be done in that situation. I'm not going to be your agent. I'm not going to take decisions on your behalf. You have to take informed decision. You consult your family. So those ways have to move. We have to move in a way how best our economies can support each other. That's the Gram Swaraj we are talking. Ultimately, what is Ram Rajya? Ram Rajya is equal opportunity, equity for everybody. Everybody is equitably happy. You can't be, of course, have a difference in rich class and poor class. That will exist anyway. But the distance between them should reduce. So I think we'll have to adapt according to local substances. There is one size doesn't fit all. There is no prescription. So we have to really go back to our villages to find out what is the richness, what is the strength. For example, herbal medicines, totally neglected. Now, because of the Ayush Ministry is getting its due place and due attention. It was their part of culture. You know why Tulsi was planted in the house at the backyard? We just neglected it. We just began as a worship because every part of Tulsi takes care of your common problems. If there is a common cold, if there is fever, that's why there. But for a period of time, this religion has destroyed the science practice of it. We introduced religion so that the practice may continue. Look at that, so much to learn from each other. And I challenge the definition of being literacy. Do I know how to milk a cow? I don't know. Do I know how to take care of the goats? And I don't know how to take care of them. Do I know how to feed the animals? I don't know. So from the farmer's point of view, I'm illiterate. Who the hell am I to tell that they're illiterate? So we have to have this more inclusive, participatory, communal concept to move forward. And you are the future. You're the future. The real challenge is, as I said, deal with the circumstances you have. Make the most of it. But most important, stay connected. Actually, what Corona Guru has taught me today is teamwork. Be a team member.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Debarati. We'll go on to Doctor. We have multiple hands, but we'll only take 2 more questions given that we have already overstayed by 1 hour. I go to Dr. Ravindra Reddy to ask the question. If you can keep it short, and please introduce yourself, Mr. Dr. Reddy, before you ask a question. And then we'll go to Sujit Ranjan, Dr. Sujit Ranjan, and then we'll end this seminar for today. Please. Dr. Ravindra Reddy, please kindly introduce yourself and ask your question.
Yes. Sir, I am Dr. Ravindra Reddy from Hyderabad, working as Professor and Dean in the School of Nalla Narasimha Reddy Education Society and Department of School of Management Sciences. Yeah, thank you, sir, and giving opportunity. Namaste, Pandav, sir. This is my question is I am very happy today, sir, what you given a lecture. What we have a thoughts in our mind also, it has been get matched. And in the what you said, is this type of lockdown and restrictions, is it necessary for this type of a coronavirus? And is it necessary for the extension of further period, the different activities and others? Why? Because what you said, like so many people are getting died because of other diseases. I too faced my friend who has been dead just 10 days back due to non-availability of hospital services due to heart stroke. And like so many people are died earlier rather than corona, comparatively what you said, like that less than 3% of death cases registered in India. And my question one more is nothing but in the initial stages, I heard so many doctors, the corona is something like that created some something in the minds of the people, the dangerous something like that. And later on, I saw that the people who given lecture in the initial stages, later on they too also now giving okay, like not that much of some of the people are telling like that now. And at the same time, I hear the decisions taken by the policymakers like Prime Minister and other ministers, etc. According to the views given by the committees established, like the committees constitute the scientists, doctors, and etc. And as per that, their decisions they are taking because Prime Minister is not a doctor or is not a scientist, of course. Like that, so sometimes they have to follow the suggestions by others. And why they are giving this type of suggestions? One of my question. Why not like you? Suppose you given. Why should we have to worry about the migrant people are suffering a lot? In Telangana, one writer and singer who written a beautiful song and on the migrant people and sent it to the Home Minister Kishan Reddy, and I think so later on only we came to know that decision of crimes for them. In the discussion in Telangana state, people they said, I think so this song has been reached to the top level authorities, how the situation they are facing actually really. I like that. Why don't the people like you or others, the good scientists and giving real decision? Why they are not in the committees, or are they not listening the decisions even in the committees? Why this situation has been suffering a lot. One policy has been suffers. A lot of people has been suffers for this. The wrong decision.
Yeah, Dr. about the question which you asked. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, sir, Ravindra Reddy sir. Anna, the good thing about the past is it's over. Yeah. Good thing about the past is it's over. Let's think of present and what we do tomorrow. Okay. But what we must not forget about past is the learnings. Yeah. We have mistakes, we made blunders. We are human beings, we do that. But we have to make sure that these are not repeated. These are not repeated subsequently. This is a classical case of wisdom by hindsight. Which we can wish only, but that scenario is over. Now we are in a new time zone. We are the time zone, in fact, before Christ has now changed to before Corona, BC. BC has become before Corona, and AD has become now AC, after Corona. The time zone has changed. The space concept has changed. So wisdom by hindsight. My only concern is about the triangle concept that I'm sharing with you. There is science part of it, there is society, and there is statesmanship. In this particular thing, we failed miserably at the science part of it. I'm sorry to say that, miserably at the science part. I'm suggesting that why don't you get disaggregate data? Why don't you get information with denominators? Why we have the technology, with the methods of getting informed decision. Why can't you use evidence-based informed decisions for taking corrective action? That's number one. Number two, society never asked people, what do you want? Never asked them. In fact, the orders from the government side are every day there's a new order. Every day there is a new order. There is no coordination taking place in different ministries. So there has to be total harmony, coordination to that. Now that's the learning, and I hope this afternoon I understand the Prime Minister is having a meeting with the Chief Ministers. I mean, I'm a very small person in this entire scenario. I'm sure they would take into consideration these issues. This wisdom by hindsight. And I hope that the same mistakes are not repeated again. Same are not again. The other thing is, I'll end up by telling a story. This is a story of a hunter who wanted to capture pigeons. So he threw maize grains and he threw a net mesh around those pigeons. That hunter is the coronavirus. He has thrown a net against us. We are the pigeon squad, the messengers of peace. What is the way for us? We have to come together. The pigeon leader said, hold the net with your beaks and come together and do what? Fly together. And fly together where? Fly in the same direction. Then only we can move forward. Otherwise, the hunter will make a meal of us at night. Then what happens? When you landed far away from a safe distance from the hunter, then you have to make friends. Who came to help the pigeons? The rats came. They bit their thing. So make friendship with everybody. You don't know who will come for you or what. And in fact, the interesting part is this year is also considered a year of rat in China. That's why we're leading the life of rats in lockdown. Rats were inside the house. Yeah. What an interesting coincidence of events that is taking place. But we are pigeons, let's be together. Once we take a decision, let's move in that direction. Let's move into that. But again and again, I'm saying, please take people's perception, their concerns, their behavior, their practices, their economic status, their social status into consideration before anything is done. While that's happening from the government side, but as human to human, as I said, show sympathy, show empathy, show compassion. I think that's the most important. It doesn't require money. It's a change of attitude. That itself, that warmth will take a long way. Pranam.
Thank
you.
you.
I'll now go to the last question for today. There are many more, but I'll go to one last question now. Dr. Sujit Ranjan, please, if you can kindly introduce yourself, and if you can keep the question brief, please, if you don't mind, because of the time constraint we have. I need to sort, because Dr. Pandav has given me a sufficient time, and I know I can always take on his time, but I would request if you can kindly keep it short. Yeah. I'm unmuting you, please, Dr. Sujit Ranjan ji. Please introduce yourself and ask a question.
Yeah, good afternoon. Good afternoon, sir. And it was very inspiring to listen you and your thought. You mentioned one very important things about the child malnutrition, and we understand that the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic will have lasting effect on people's and their nutrition, healthcare, economics, food system in all corners of the world. And since the malnutrition among children within such lockdown, and even after lockdown of this COVID, like the situation can be directly traced to the inadequate dietary intake and disease among the children. And as the COVID-19 pandemic rapidly unfold the food system, so food system, particularly in the developing country like India, and is at risk. And I can see, like, since I am heading the Coalition for Food and Nutrition Security, interacting with so many players at different states and the different level, I can see the potential implications of the pandemic on food security and access to the nutritious food by the children or the most marginalized people. And the reverse migration is already there. So since you had briefly mentioned about that, I would like to listen from you so that we'll be benefited, and we'll take this your discussion forward, and together how we can make a difference.
I think first is the realization, I again keep on coming to Bapuji because of my strong influence I've had in childhood, staying in Aga Khan Palace. For a hungry man, who is God? For a hungry man, bread is God. That's what Bapuji said. That's number one. Number two, there has to be a strong linkage between agricultural productivity, food security, and nutrition security. It has to be integrated. We have to develop a new language of integration of these. That's number two. Number three, this is a great opportunity. When we look, that's why I need people from behavioral sciences, those who study sociology, those who study anthropology, those who study economics, psychology, political science. Their contribution is very vital. When you look at smallpox eradication, it was considered as a visitation by Shitala Devi. Shitala Devi visited. And the patient actually was respected. He was kept at a safe distance, and they took very good care. Unlike the social distancing that we're using, they took very good care. Now, what does it convey the message? It conveys the message that the cultural practices that we have, it's a time to change. This is a good opportunity. I use Professor Raghunath Mashelkar's book very often. This is the time from leapfrogging to pole vaulting. If you really want to make up for the loss, we can't leap at a time. Leapfrogging days are over. That's a luxury for us. We'll have to pole vaulting. What do I mean by that? We have to change the norms. You're talking of changing the norms only in terms of dealing, but we have to change the norms. Who should be the first person in the family to get a meal? Who gets it now? Who is the last person in the family who gets it? It's the mother. We celebrate Mother's Day one day and forget about it. We only give lip service to Matru and forget about it. So this is the new norm that will occur in the nutrition revolution. That by the coronavirus has said that the mother should be first fed. Well, mother is happy, mother is fed, then the other people in terms of priority should be fed. I think that's the greatest learning that we can have. That's why I keep on calling Corona as my guru. This is a new norm. Revolutionize the traditional practices. She is the last person. Whatever is left over is given to her. And she requires, she's the most. Corona has given instructions, divine instructions, that the first person in the house to be fed is pregnant mother, lactating mother, women, then children under 1,000 days, and then move on in terms of elderly. That we can do. So that will have a major effect in redistribution. In fact, that behavioral change we have to bring into this. This is a good opportunity. Good opportunity. We are getting a blank board in a way, blank board. So let's do away with those habits, age-old habits, which have relegated the women to the secondary place. Actually, societal transformation. I think women are still, one was the historic Gurukul system. Those days, even women used to go along with the Gurukul system. What happened then came a certain scriptures which divided the society into four castes, and women were the most neglected one. And then came Professor Lord Macaulay in 1836. He introduced another class: those who are speaking English, those who are not speaking non-English. So the corona positive, corona negative, English speaking, but Indian language speaking. So Lord Macaulay has further deteriorated the condition of women. I was looking at the literacy rate of women. I have that figure. It's changed very little. You see how Kerala has done. Providentially, they had a benevolent king, and he paid a lot of attention to women's literacy, women's education. You see, unless we take care of mother, Ma, I am very against using the word mummy. Mummy is just moving the lips. Ma comes with emotion. Unless we take care of Ma. I call it, Marathi, that's my mother, I call it I. I has to be an integral part of Anganwadi worker, Asha worker, auxiliary nurse midwife, agricultural extension worker, and I has to be a part. So this is the new team that's emerging. The A's will get A+ when the A's come together. And we will be able to face any uncertainties if we are together. Let's fly, let's be like together, like pigeons, let's work together at the grassroots level where it matters. The other thing we have failed miserably in this is we have the technology. Our Anganwadi workers have the phone, mobile phone. You can get real-time data as to what has happened. We didn't use that. Missed opportunity. So let's use all this integration. The new world and the old world has to come together and find out what I call as the balanced world. There is no definition. The world that helps you to lead your life physically and mentally optimally towards society, serving the others. To me, that's the new prescription. That's the new norm we should evolve.
Thank you, Dr. Pandav. Thank you, Sujit Ranjan. I will be now closing the session for today in another 2-3 minutes. Before that, I have a formal announcement. I'd like to first thank Dr. Pandav. I'm sorry that we've exceeded over time. We've crossed, almost 45 minutes over to what I requested you for. But there is so much of
Aman, the interesting thing as being a faculty member at the All India Institute of Medical Sciences is I'll share an interesting concept with you. We begin to walk at the age of 1. We begin to walk off at the age of 1. Spend our half our life doing that, walking. Kahan ja rahe, safar karne ja rahe. We begin to talk. The professor at AIIMS begin to talk at the age of 2 and never seem to stop. So I enjoy it.
It's such a pleasure that you're here and a lot of interest. People still want to ask questions, but given the time and paucity, but we will for sure have you with us again on the issue which you work on and specifically with the areas which you have talked about in your work to deliberate upon. And I would trouble you soon, later, not this week or next week, to fix up a schedule for that. And that I hope I have the right to pour upon your time for that purpose. But before I close the session for today, I would like to announce that we have prominent speakers like Dr. Pandav, learned people like him coming again tomorrow and thereafter. We are going to have Purnima Voria, who is the founder and CEO for National US-India Chamber of Commerce and Industry from US, from Denver, who is going to speak to us till midnight for her tomorrow. She'll be speaking. And then we have Junzo coming on the 15th, and Dr. Geeta Piramal is also going to speak at our forum soon. And a couple of others who have committed. As I said, people from different countries are coming over to speak with you people. Apart from that, we are having a couple of series of training programs which we're organizing. One is on A to Z on technical analysis today from 4 o'clock. And then tomorrow at 4 at learning on tally from accounts and demystified and analyzing profit and loss accounts, balance sheet and cash flow on Wednesday. Then we have understanding economic indicators on Thursday, and then using of Excel in finance on Friday, and on Saturday, capital budgeting using Excel. Apart from this, we have also scheduled a large number of webinars which are there apart from the essence of life. We are having 3 major ones which are going to be there this week. One is going to be there on Wednesday from 2 o'clock till 3:30 on economics of pandemics. The other one is going to be from 2 to 3:30 on Saturday on financial planning tips for housewives. And then another one by Professor Deepak Vora, which will be there on trust, a core human value on Friday 15th from 2 to 3. With that, I'd like to end the session for today. Thank you. Namaskar. Vande Mataram and Jai Hind.